Hello, my fellow historians. This week's discussion is going to be another continuation of warfare and religion in interesting conversions. Now, we predominantly have spoken of the medieval time frame. We will be touching with that and moving on to the early modern, and one of the sources will expand into what could be considered the modern age and the world of today. Now, we're going to start today's discussion with the Baltic Crusades. The Baltic Crusades were mainly the expansion of Christianity into the pagan areas of northern Europe through fire and sword. It was a holy war, and it saw the expansion of Christianity and the conversion of pagan peoples. And it did have an effect on Europe as a whole, because in the aftermath of that, we see many kingdoms and powerful empires rising from those countries that were formerly pagan that had become Christian. Now let's move on to the early modern age and discuss the 30 Years' War. Now, that is a unique war because it saw empires rise and empires fall. Mainly the Swedish Empire rose, and the Holy Roman Empire kind of was waning and kind of sounding its death knell. It was a war of both politics and religion. Now, the source for that, and the source for why I'm saying it was a combination of politics and religion, comes from Devo to Devo, Politics and Religion in the 30 Years' War by Paul Sonino. It was an interesting read. Now, this is where we get one saying that has massive implications in the 20th century. The Protestant forces, which is mainly under the Swedish Empire, Gustavus Adolphus's crew, had the saying of Gott mit uns, which means God is with us. Now, this can harken back to the Crusades, where the Crusaders, especially during the First Crusade, their battle cry was Deus vult, which means God wills it. So religion is involved in combat. Okay, now we can go on to the third and final piece of this discussion, which was brought about by an interesting find: Violence as Worship, Religious Wars in the Age of Globalization, by James V. Spickard. Now, that is applicable to the modern age because everybody's talking about the world is shrinking, getting smaller, and it's becoming more globalized. But globalization can mean many other things. Look, Europe's globalized right now because they're all underneath one unit of monetary measurement since the first time since the Roman Empire, with the euro. Roman Empire, that could be termed globalization because they did have the globe. They ruled the world at their time frame. Now, I could expand on this more, but that's going to have to wait for another discussion. Good night.